There are 10 teams that are 2-0. 4 of those teams were not playoff teams in 2024. Are we buying? Are we selling? Let's begin with the Colts, one of the most unlikely 2-0 teams, especially with that win over the Broncos on Sunday. First 2-0 start since 2009. They'd been 0-10-1 in week 1 in the 11 seasons before this one. Buy or sell the Indianapolis Colts?
I'm buying. The Colts don't even punt. They're not even punting down there. Daniel Jones is moving them, making it happen. And I think when you look at the rest of that division, Tennessee is 0-2, Houston's 0-2, Jacksonville's 1-1. Like, there's a comfort that they should have that they can go and make the playoffs and win this division this year. So I am definitely buying the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm buying with a caveat, keep Daniel Jones healthy. That's going to be the key. Now, maybe Anthony Richardson will come in and play well if it gets to that. And I'm not trying to put the Malocchio on Daniel Jones by pointing out that, he got popped by Matthew Judon week 1. I talked to him about that after the game. He says, I know I've got to avoid hits like that. The more hits you take, the greater the chance you're going to get injured and miss time. They need Daniel Jones to not miss time because he's been the reason for that turnaround. All right, Arizona Cardinals, first 2-0 start since 2021. Buy or sell?
I'm selling the Cardinals, and it's not anything that they did. It's just I still think the other teams in that division are the cream of the crop. When you look at the Rams, when you look at the Seahawks, I just think when you look at the 49ers, I think those teams are in better situations than the Cardinals. Right now, the Cardinals beat the Saints and the Panthers. It's hard to just live on that, so I'm going to sell the Cardinals.
I'm selling as well, and of course we're going to be flooded with questions of why do we hate the Cardinals, and we should respond the way Chris Collinsworth usually does and say, I just do. But we don't. We're just trying to give a fair assessment here of what's going on. They have 2 wins against teams that are at the bottom of the league. They screwed around with the Saints and almost saw overtime. And then they let the Panthers get back into the game. We'll find out this week when they go to face the next team we're going to discuss, the San Francisco 49ers. They are 2-0. Michael McCorkle-Jones gets the win in place of Brock Purdy in New Orleans. The 49ers fans completely overtook the Superdome. They're at home this week. Cardinals come to town. 4th time in the last 6 seasons they've started 2-0, despite injuries. Buy or sell?
I'm selling on the 49ers. I know what they've done, and I actually think Mac Jones can lead this team and do some good things. At the end of the day, I think the Seahawks and the Rams will finish at the top of this division. I know people are going to be like, the 49ers beat the Seahawks week 1. Yep, I get it. But I think over time, I think the Seahawks end up becoming a better team this year. I think Darnold gets more comfortable, and I think the Rams and Stafford, they are what they are. They're going to be there at the end. So that's the reason I'm selling on the 49ers. I don't fully believe that throughout this season they're going to be able to continue to be at this level. I think they just take a little drop off this year compared to years past.
I'm buying, Devin. I'm buying because they have the easiest schedule in the division. They were the 4th place team. The division itself has an easier schedule than last year. AFC South, NFC South teams are the opponents. And they've got that DNA. 2 Super Bowl appearances since 2019. Playoffs more often than not. The 2 times they missed were the years that injuries just completely destroyed the season. I think that they can weather this storm of early season injuries, and they will be good to go. And it's helpful to have a Mac Jones there to play in place of Brock Purdy, however long Purdy may be out. The Bengals, first 2-0 start since 2018. They had won 1 game in the first 2 weeks of any season since Joe Burrow became the quarterback in 2020. Are you buying? Are you selling the Burrow-less Bengals?
I hate to do it, but I'm selling. And I was on Unbuttoned, Sim's podcast after the game talking about we got to give credit to the Bengals and not talk about how it doesn't look pretty. And I'm like, this team's finding a way to win. We were killing them last year about not finding a way to win, and they keep finding a way to win. But no Joe Burrow. I'm not buying without Burrow. They need Burrow, I think, to be that team they want to be. So I got to sell.
They get lucky this week because they won't face J.J. McCarthy. They'll face Carson Wentz in Minnesota. But the schedule, you go to Denver. You got the Lions. You're at the Packers. Then come the Steelers. Softens a little bit with the Jets and the Bears. But then you get into the bye week, the back half of the season. You got the Ravens twice. How about this sandwich? How about this nasty sandwich? Ravens, Bills, Ravens. How about that for a 3-game stretch? Oh, and before that, you're at Pittsburgh. Good God. And December 14, that's right about the time that Joe Burrow could possibly be back. But, man, I got to sell. I got to sell. Jake Browning, 4-3 as a starter. I get it, but I got to sell. Because Burrow was the guy that almost single-handedly elevated that team to the playoffs last year. You take him out of the mix, and Jamar Chase is a factor too, and T. Higgins. But you take him out of the mix, and it changes everything. So I'll sell the Bengals, but and the rest of the AFC at the top is pretty damn good. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.